everyone, some gamer dude here. Gravekeeper of the Demonic World is probably my favourite card from the 7th. I was far more interested in back support than I was the new stuff. I still need to try out the Fallen Angels as of writing, but I'm not big on tag. Gravekeeper just sparks me. It fits nicely into the Mikage deck. It ties its themes together amazingly. But it's also a build-around card thanks to Deadly Dive. Today I want to talk about what would theoretically be the build-around deck for it. Graveyard Keeper is a fantastic little card. A 1-drop 100/500 Darkness Resonator with Bane would be pretty good by itself. Defensive stat line with Death Touch. But when he gets a +100/+100 counter, he heals you according to his defense, then creates a 400/400 zombie token. In Darkness, this is alright. Mikage gives him +100/+100 counters once a turn, and between both sides of Lord of the Undead, you have a finisher. Lord gives zombies +400/+400, then Deadly Dive sacks all your zombies and burns your opponent according to their attack. If you have 5 zombie tokens, you just win. It's 4600 damage. The issue is that Darkness is slow to +100/+100 counters. Mikage makes them just once a turn. You have Frightened Villager and Lord of the Undead to make more, but that's about it. It's not really consistent, and you just can't make more en masse. This burst and the Epic Stone of Blood is about the best you have. Light, on the other hand, is pretty good at generating +100/+100 counters. You have Flute, Endless Starlight, Spirit of Light, Spirit of the Star, Pilgrim of the Star, Magic Bird, and Aborozuki herself to do it. Aborozuki needs Light Will to count, but the Hidden History Aborozuki fixes that right up. Aborozuki gives you the equivalent of what Mikage would, then Flute can just give you a second one each turn. Endless Starlight gives you one more control card, Spirit of the Star gives you a 1-cost flash-in flying blocker, and Magic Bird can give you 3 zombie tokens in succession. But it should work in theory, except it probably doesn't. At least not like this. Magic Stone of Heaven's Rift is currently the only stone we have access to that produces both light and darkness will reliably. I think it'll be reprinted next cluster, so no worries there, but it's hard. We have a fairly significant amount of cards that need solid 2 or 3 darkness or light will costs. Void costs aren't anywhere to be seen here. You could use Magic Stone of Knowledge, but it's a severe detriment on turn 1 and 2. The reality is that Aborozuki probably isn't the best ruler of choice for this hypothetical deck. Mikage Seijiro is. Mikage is a very different deck, utilising a hard darkness base with Dracula, Freyla, Frightened Villager, all that good stuff. But he can incorporate Endless Starlight, Spirit of the Star, and Grace of the Star into his deck far better than Aborozuki can merge both. He can even pack Flute if you want to push it that far. Light just offers more on the lower cost side of the spectrum. Endless Starlight is a good control card that gives counters. Spirit of the Star is a good flash-in blocker for light that gives counters. Grace of the Star can protect your Gravekeeper and anything else with +100/+100 counters. Mikage just gets more out of Aborozuki's cards than Aborozuki gets out of Mikage's cards. Mikage also gets mileage out of another card I looked over when I was talking about the support he got in the more recent sets, March of the Dead. A quick cast chant for Darkness 1, it creates 400/400 zombie tokens equal to the number of resonators in your grave. It does a bunch of stuff for Belial too, but the main part of this card functions quite well with the Mikage and, interestingly, the Hidden History of Mikage. It's quick cast, so you can do it while Dracula is in the grave, but the Hidden History allows you to look at the top card of your deck and, if you want, discard it. You can build up a fair few resonators in your grave, then just get to Lord of the Undead via Hidden History. If you use Frightened Villager and Lonely Vampire with Mikage, you get zombie tokens later off them. I think this card is more of a recovery function than something you should aim for. I think it's possible to get a nice 5 zombie tokens off of it, but if you're trying to recover and win via this, You probably can't power up those zombie tokens without Kirik's training grounds. You will have to have softened them up enough to the point where March of the Undead and Deadly Dive wins the game outright. It also does interfere with Interdimensional Graveyard and Abhorrent Revival, though Interdimensional Graveyard may screw over Dracula itself if things don't go your way. So back to Gravekeeper of the Demonic World. For our theoretical deck, just take the Mikage deck and jam some Endless Starlight, Spirit of the Star, and Grace of the Star in there. You'll be able to use the Deadly Dive OTK reliably and produce far more zombie tokens, but you'll also have Dracula card draw and the ability to protect your resonators. Is it a good deck? Theoretically. I think it has more going for it than straight Mikage. I think it's got a pretty potent game-winning move, and it's fairly reliable. It can rely on Dracula being a big boy and doing normal things if it has to. Like the other two decks I've discussed recently, I don't think it's an amazing deck or anything. It's admittedly still a lower tier, but I like the concept, and if I get to try it, I'll return to this video and talk about how it went. Till next time, this has been Some Gamer Dude, and thanks for watching.